The neighborhood fell silent as the HOA officer, Carl Bennett, scrambled back over the fence, his face a mix of shock and humiliation. My grandfather, Walter Mason, a 73-year-old retired Navy electrical engineer, stood calmly by his garden, his voice booming with a warning. Try that again, and you'll regret it for life. Carl, a power-hungry bureaucrat, had no idea he'd just crossed a man who'd spent 4 decades rigging systems that could stop a man cold. This wasn't just a property dispute, it was war, and Walter was about to become a legend in Oak Ridge Estates. It all started on a crisp fall morning. Walter was tending his beloved tomato vines and the Elizabeth roses his late wife, Eleanor, had cherished. From the kitchen window, I, Daniel Carter, watched him whisper to the blooms, "They're even lovelier this year, Ellie." It was his daily ritual since her passing 5 years ago, a sacred connection to their 45-year love story. I was rushing to work, juggling my briefcase and coffee, fresh out of law school and drowning in debt. "Walter," I called, "don't forget that HOA letter about the oak tree being too tall." He waved me off, his weathered face serene. "Daniel, that tree's barely 7 feet. It's been there 20 years. They can shove their letter." I cut him off, pleading, "Please, let's not stir trouble. These new HOA rules are nonsense, but fines could cost hundreds. I'm trying to build my law firm here." He just nodded, but I should have known Walter didn't bend to petty tyrants. As I headed out, our golden retriever, Max, barked furiously at the fence. Through the window, I saw Carl, clipboard in hand, snapping photos of our yard. Walter noticed too, his peaceful gardening interrupted. "Need something?" he asked, voice firm but polite. Carl sneered, "Mr. Mason, your oak tree violates our new height guidelines. Expect a violation notice and fines if it's not fixed in 7 days." Then, without warning, Carl climbed our 6-foot privacy fence, ignoring Walter's prior warning to never enter without permission. He landed with a thud, trampling Walter's herb garden to measure the tree. "You're trespassing," Walter snapped, Max's barks echoing. Carl scoffed, "HOA bylaws give me access for violations." I froze, knowing Walter's quiet rage meant trouble. "Get off my land," he said, each word sharp. Carl smirked, scribbling notes. "You'll hear from the committee, old man." By evening, Walter was at the kitchen table, his eyes gleaming with purpose. He'd called his friend, Tom Sullivan, a retired lawyer, who confirmed Carl had no legal right to enter. "If they want to fight," Walter said softly, "they'll get one." I checked the HOA rules myself. Carl had overstepped. Walter glanced at me, a rare vulnerability in his eyes. "Am I just a stubborn old fool, Daniel?" Then his jaw set. "This is our home." He turned to Tom. "Remember that substation job? Time to dust off some gear." The next day, I found them hunched over electrical components, scheming like gleeful kids. "What's this?" I asked, alarmed. Walter grinned, holding up a circuit board. "Just a security upgrade." He demonstrated a branch touched the test circuit, sparking a soft buzz. My legal instincts screamed, "You're not electrifying the fence, are you? That's illegal." Walter chuckled. "It's legal with signs, Daniel. Just a mild jolt, enough to make Carl think twice." Tom nodded. "Local laws allow low-voltage deterrence if marked." A new HOA letter arrived, threatening a $500 fine for obstructing Carl's duties. The audacity flipped a switch in me. "Fine," I said. "But we do this right. Cameras, signs, no injuries." Our dining room became Operation Fence to Fence. Walter and Tom worked with precision, testing every wire. Walter shared Navy stories, his hands steady despite his age. "There's a line between rules and bullying," he said, gazing at Eleanor's roses. "Your grandma knew that. When the school tried medicating your dad for being too lively, she stormed in with research and won." I dug into HOA records, uncovering unvoted rules and selective enforcement targeting older homes. Neighbors shared horror stories. Mrs. Larson, 80, fined $300 for an outdated mailbox the Wilsons cited for kids' toys. Meanwhile, James, a 23-year-old tech whiz, set up a chat group for fed-up residents. We installed cameras and a clear sign. "Caution, electric fence for animal control." Walter tested it, satisfied with the mild buzz. That evening, sipping beer on the porch, he predicted, "Margaret Brooks, the HOA queen, won't wait long to strike." Tom agreed. "You've poked the beast." 2 days later, Carl returned with Margaret, her designer blazer screaming overkill. Her husband, Richard, watched from their SUV, his eyes calculating. Max's barks alerted us. Neighbors emerged, phones ready, as Margaret barked. Mr. Mason, we're addressing multiple violations: tree height, fence color. Walter raised an eyebrow. The fence hadn't changed in 15 years. Carl's inspecting today, she declared. Walter gestured to the sign. We've got an electric fence now. Schedule an inspection with Daniel present. Margaret's face reddened. Remove this hazard. It's a safety violation. Walter stayed calm. It's legal, marked, and recorded, including Carl's trespassing. Margaret hissed at Carl. Do your job. He hesitated, eyeing the sign, but she snapped. It's probably fake. Check the tree. The street turned into a theater. Neighbors watered already soaked plants or swept clean walkways, phones discreetly filming. Carl climbed, and the fence delivered. Lights flashed, a buzzer sounded, and a mild shock sent him tumbling into Eleanor's roses. He yelped, neighbors stifled laughs, and James grinned, recording. Margaret shrieked, You assaulted him. Walter pointed to the cameras. We've got your order to trespass on tape. Richard whispered to Margaret, his face tight. We'll handle this at the HOA meeting, he said, ushering her away. Neighbors swarmed Walter, sharing their own HOA nightmares. Mrs. Larson whispered, Show him, Walter. Some of us can't fight. That night, Claire Evans, a new HOA board member and journalist, called. She met us, nervously sharing documents. Richard's company was buying homes for a commercial complex, needing our lot. Margaret used HOA fines to pressure holdouts, devaluing homes for cheap buyouts. An email from Margaret mentioned clearing undesirables before groundbreaking. Another HOA meeting was called, titled Enforcement for Safety Hazards. I spotted legal flaws and voted rules, conflicts of interest. Claire revealed HOA funds funneled to a sham company tied to Margaret's sister. The plot thickened. This wasn't about trees, it was about forcing us out. At the meeting, Margaret pushed a ban on electric fences, citing Carl's injuries. Walter presented Carl's trespassing evidence, Tom cited laws, and Claire questioned finances. Margaret snapped, If you don't like it, move. The ban passed narrowly, giving us 48 hours to comply. Outside, Claire quit the board, vowing to expose the truth. Walter, unfazed, mused. They want the fence gone? Fine. Nobody banned slippery ones. We worked overnight, replacing the electric system with a silicone-coated fence slippery, non-toxic, legal. Motion sensors and spotlights would embarrass, not harm. James backed up footage to the cloud. By morning, Margaret and Carl returned, smug. Fence is down, she said. Now, check the tree. Walter declined entry. Margaret snapped. Just do it, Carl. He climbed, slipped spectacularly, and landed hard, coated in gel. Spotlights lit him up, neighbors cheered, and James' video went viral with slippery fence fury. Margaret called the police, but they ruled the fence legal, citing our fresh paint signs. She screamed at Walter, I'll get you out, caught on tape. A cop, Officer Lopez, lingered. My folks fought an HOA, he said. The prosecutor's eyeing HOA fraud. Got evidence? Call Detective Harris. Later, Walter smelled chemicals behind a sold property toxic solvents, he warned, from his Navy days. Claire's records showed HOA payments to Richard's firm. A city inspector, tipped by Walter, caught workers dumping waste. One admitted cutting corners, and Richard, furious, revealed his multi-million-dollar plan, needing our home. My phone caught his threats. News broke. Illegal dumping. HOA fraud. Richard's firm faced probes. Margaret's schemes unraveled. At another meeting, Walter's fake fence trap caught Margaret and Carl sabotaging it on video. An inspector revealed Richard's toxic dumping, and Margaret's outburst exposed their near bankruptcy. The HOA board was ousted. Claire took over, and reforms began. Richard's project collapsed. Their home sold cheap, and Carl, humbled, became a gardener, apologizing to Walter. Walter sat by Eleanor's roses, now award-winning, as neighbors barbecued in our yard. James' video sparked HOA reform talks nationwide. A letter arrived another neighborhood needed help. Walter grinned, eyes on the roses. Eleanor always said wisdom trumps strength, he said. And she was never wrong. Our fight wasn't just for a fancy, it was for justice, community, and the home where Eleanor's love still bloomed. Some boundaries, Walter proved, are worth any fight.